Hey gang, welcome back to another video. Now in my over 3 decades of being a home haunter, I've made every version of fake candle you can imagine. I've made them from toilet paper rolls, from PVC pipe and hot glue. I've even used silicone to make molds so I could cast them in resin. But there's one version that I haven't tried just yet. So let's get into it. This project starts with a few supplies that I picked up at the local dollar store. This 3-pack of battery-powered LED candles that have an outer coating of wax, as well as a pack of candlesticks. Because for this project, I'm going to start by making my own real dripping candles. Of course, you could just buy a pillar candle, light it, and wait, but haunt season has already started, so I need to move this project along. But before I get to that, I won't be needing the internal electronics, so I removed the fake flame with a pair of pliers and stashed any remaining wires inside it, and now I'm left with the basic candle shell. Now I chose these candles for this project rather than using something like PVC because they already had a nice angled top that's slightly concave, which should make for a better looking finished product. Plus it was a few dollars for all the supplies, which makes it hard to beat. But if I'm going to get these done, I'm going to have to get to adding my wax drips, so I grabbed a candle and got to work. I'm doing my best to drip the melted wax down the face of the candle and keeping it consistently moving to allow the wax time to solidify so that I can get to bulking up the appearance. I also purchased a votive candle, which I lit and set aside, since I had a feeling that this 1x1 drip might take a while. The votive candle's wax was poured over the edges, and once it looked how I'd hoped, I set it aside to cool. While I wait for the wax to set up, let's talk about the method I'll be using to digitize these candles. For this project, I'll be using the Revopoint POP 4 handheld 3D scanner. It combines blue laser and infrared structured light technology, which makes it useful for scanning everything from small detailed parts like these candles to larger objects that can be a little bit more challenging to capture. It supports several different scanning and tracking modes along with full-color texture capture, so it's a flexible tool whether you're creating models for 3D printing, reverse engineering parts, or bringing real-world objects into your digital workflow. The POP 4 also offers full-field and hybrid HD scanning, VXL rapid scanning, as well as single-line deep hole scanning, so regardless of what I'm scanning, there's a good option to make sure I'm able to capture all the important details. But for this project, I'm going to scan the candles using the 30 cross blue laser line scanning and the included turntable, which I've added some of the included tracking markers to help speed up the process. Now once I have the scanner set up and plugged into my laptop, and I can see that the scanning software is recognizing the markers, then I can kick off the scan. Now it's a bit challenging to see the laser line scanning with all the lights on, but here's what it actually looks like. You can see the 30 lines and how they span the surface of the candle to collect all of the shape detail. It's pretty cool technology to see in action, especially since the computer screen is showing what's being captured in real time. I turn the lights back on and let the scanner capture a few more rotations of the candle, including a full pass using the single laser line scanning mode for all of the recesses at the top of the candle. And once it seemed like I'd captured everything, I clicked complete and it was time to check out my scan. Now I know this may look like it captured more than just the candle, but the scanner software is actually able to remove most unnecessary objects, smooth out details, and repair any areas that may not have been captured in the scan due to undercuts or areas just not visible to the scanner. I can also highlight and remove any remaining parts that I don't want to be a part of my final model, and with a few clicks, I've got my model ready to export for print. Overall, this scan exceeded my expectations. It's captured the scale of the candle as well as all of the drips, even though the wax can be reflective and this type of texture can be challenging for some scanners to capture. The only thing to do now is to see what they look like as a 3D print. For the sake of this video and the fact that I'm in a shared workspace and don't want to run my printer overnight unattended, I'm going to print a scaled version just as a proof of concept. And since these will eventually live outside, I'm going to 3D print them in ABS filament in this light ivory color. And after a few hours, here's my first candle. Now what's really great about this is that I can scale the scan to create a variety of sizes of candles. And while casting candles in resin may be a faster method after making the mold, you're still stuck with just one size candle. So using these scans gives me some freedom to create a variety and scale in a material that will withstand potentially harsh weather situations, which is absolutely clutch. Of course, there's still a bit of work to be done to really make these look right, but for that, I'm going to need some acetone. Because this candle is printed in ABS filament, I can brush on acetone to minimize layer lines and smooth out the candle shape a bit more. If you had a bunch of candles and wanted to do it in bulk, you could use a process called vapor smoothing for a more hands-off approach to minimizing any visible layer lines. Although I doubt anyone would actually be able to see any of them unless you were up close and under bright lights. Now, it wouldn't be a haunt candle without a bit of aging. So I grabbed some acrylic paint and got to applying it into all of the recesses to help make the textures in the scan stand out a bit more, since these will eventually be seen under haunt lighting, and anything else will get wiped away with a rag. Now, since I don't want these to look too contrasty, I chose a paint color that was slightly darker than the color of my filament. That way, it doesn't look too heavy-handed or come across as artificial. The last thing I want to do is pop in one of my LED flicker bulbs to finish the candle. The LED will eventually be connected to an improved plug-and-play lighting system now that I'm dealing with real weather, but I'm not quite ready to tackle that project. So just temporary wiring will have to do. Well, I think it's safe to say that I've officially tried every method for making fake candles for a haunt. And while this one isn't the most straightforward, it's definitely an interesting use of new technology that could come in handy for future builds for our new haunt. So for now, this will be the ghost light for my new workshop. I'd like to thank Revopoint for sponsoring this video, and if you'd like to learn more about the POP 4 scanner, be sure to check out the link in the video description. Well, that's going to do it for this one. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, but most importantly, go make something.